everyone, it's Shel from Paper Rock TO Studio. Today I'm sharing with you the next in the series of 3 extra large tags that I'm making for the winners of my 3,000 subscriber giveaway. Thanks everyone for subscribing, you're awesome. The first thing that I did is I put some gesso on the tag. This is manila cardstock that these are made out of, and it's absorbent. So it's a good idea to seal it with something before you start. So I did that. Then I'm getting out my brand new tub of Liquitex gel matte medium. This is probably my favorite of all the adhesives. And I'm attaching a map pieces. This is torn out of an atlas somewhere. Who even knows if it's accurate or what. But I just want the background layer of having that map graphic underneath. It won't show that much, but it'll be there because this is mixed media and it's all about the layers. Remember, layers, layers, layers. So I'm using a plastic palette knife to apply it to the back of the pieces. This stuff is not super thick. It's not rubbery. It's good stuff. I like it. So far, this is the one that I found that I like the best, but I've been using up other stuff as I go, trying to get rid of all the other ones that I have. So I'm just attaching these pieces randomly, very randomly, not worried about it looking like any map of any specific place. It's just map pieces for visual interest. And then I'm making sure that they're all stuck down and coated with a coat of the gel as I'm going along. And then I'm going to dry that, of course. Well, I thought I was. Yes, I am. I'm going to dry it. And then once it's dry, I'm going to trim off the edges, any excess off the edges, of course. This tag is for Jennifer Travnicek, who is the second in the list of 3 winners for the giveaway. And so I'm making this tag specifically for her based on the things that she said in the questions that I asked. The colors she said she liked are light blue, light yellow, and gold. So I'm sticking with those colors for my tag. She said that she could see crepe myrtle trees, bushes, whatever they are, outside of her window. And then, so I looked that up to see what those look like. And then she said that the animal she identifies with is a lioness because they're very protective of their family and they're social. So those are the 3 things that I'm going to use. She also said she had just recorded Chopped, which, hey, that's one of my favorite shows, but I'm not going to use that particular piece of information on this tag. It didn't fit in with anything else. So I'm applying these acrylic paints with my finger and also some white gesso blending in, and then I'm going over it with my little onion stencil and removing some of the color just to add texture to the background. This is going to end up being kind of like a sky, and I just thought it looked cool. And that helps blend in all the blank spots where there isn't any map piece so that it doesn't look so splotchy. And then I'm ending here with the horizon line, and then I'm going to put the gold and yellow colors mixed with gesso on the bottom. I wasn't sure if she meant metallic gold or if she meant gold as in the color gold. So that yellow ochre paint right there is a gold color. So I'm putting that kind of on the outsides and then putting the yellow blended with the white gesso on the inside to make a light yellow color. And then I'm also blending it with the baby wipe some so that it's not as thick. You can still see the map pieces through. And this makes a very interesting mixed media background. So there you go. So making these tags has been really fun. It's interesting to me to do something specific for someone. That's the reason I've been having those type of giveaways on my channel. Oh, and here I'm just using up the excess paint. And that's my new palette, by the way. That's a butcher tray palette, which I've wanted one for a long time. And it's an enamel coated metal tray. I wished it was a little bit smaller because my desk isn't very big, but besides that, I really like it so far. Just got it. So now I'm making a circle, and I'm using something that sits on my desk that has a lot of different mark making tools in it. So I used it just to make a circle. I can't draw a circle to save my life. It just looks lopsided and flat on one side, and it just never really works. So when I can, I use something that is circular to draw my circle. And then I put some white gesso on that to block out so that I could put some yellow over the top. The yellow that I'm going to be using, the yellow colors that I'm going to be using, are translucent. So if I put it directly over the blue, I would get green, basically, a greenish color. You can kind of see that along the edge there where I'm drawing the horizon line. So now I'm going to do a bit of drawing, and I'm going to speed that up for you a little bit because there is a lot of drawing on this one. I'm not paper painting, I'm just going to draw and paint. So no collage other than the map pieces. So I'm drawing a person, a female person. I have no idea what Jennifer looks like, so I can't draw Jennifer, but I'm just drawing a female person. I assume someone named Jennifer is female. That's about all I know. And then I'm drawing a tree. This tree is, sorry about my phone. I looked at crepe myrtle trees on the internet, and in some cases they were pruning them so that they have a lot of sticks sticking up and then bushy parts on the top, and generally they all seem to be blooming. So I made a tree that looks somewhat like that, but it is more, I'm going with the lion cub, and so this is more like kind of the savanna. So you see those trees off in the distance, they kind of look like that. It's not a specific tree, and it's not necessarily a crepe myrtle, but it does have that type of a stick and then bush type of look, but no flowers. And I just, the colors, you know, the yellow and the blue and the big sunshine and the lion just made me think about the African savanna. So that's the reason that I drew one of those type of trees. I don't know what those type of trees are. I have no idea, but there are similarities between that and the crepe myrtle, so that's the reason I did it. And because I felt like it and it looked cool. So then I'm drawing in the features of the girl, and there was another skipped part. This video has some technical difficulties that you'll see later, but when I'm filming with my phone, the phone rings, it shuts off the video, and then I have to answer the phone, or else, you know, say I'm not going to answer it, whatever. But it shuts off the video, and that happened, and then I started to draw the lion cub, and I didn't turn it back on. And then at some point I realized, oh, it's not on, so then I turned it back on. So I did draw that lion cub, and you saw me finish it up after I remembered to turn the video back on. It was just one of those days. One of those days. So I finished drawing in some features of the girl, and then I decided the tree needed to be a little bit higher up for balance, and then I thought I needed a few birds up at the top just for creating a visual triangle between the birds, the tree, the girl, the birds, the tree, the girl, or the tree, the girl, the lion, the tree, the girl, the lion. So it gives your eyes some place to go around the piece, and so that's the reason I did that. Then I am using that same two paints from the Decoart Media line, fluid paints. It's a yellow ochre and primary yellow, I think. I think so. I'll look it up, and I'll put all the things that I used in the description below so that you can find them if you need them, and that you don't have to ask me. And then I'm just kind of filling out my little horizon line that I made a little bit of some hills and bumps with the excess paint. I was really in a finger painting mood. I did most of it with my fingers with the acrylic paint. Just felt like it. I felt like getting my fingers dirty. It's a satisfying feeling to feel paint on your fingers. So after giving this a dry, then I decided that I needed like a darker blue halo around the sun, although that is actually the opposite of what it should be. You should have lighter around the sun going to darker, but this is what I was feeling, so I decided to make it a halo around the sun and then kind of blend it in around the edges. So I'm using some cyan blue mixed with titanium white paint to do that. And then I also used it to accent my strange hill line on the horizon. So we still have one more extra large tag to go in this series, and that will be coming out soon. I hope you guys are enjoying these. Had a little bit of that titanium white, so I watered it down and kind of highlighted the top part of the sun and lightened up that bright yellow color, and then added a few more highlights here and there. And then I used it to splatter as well, because splatters. You just have to have splatters. That's just all there is to it. That's a really nice titanium white. It's very opaque. It's from the Decoart Media Line Fluid Acrylics. So now I'm going to start coloring in the girl and the lion and the tree using Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons. I forgot to put some clothes on her. I thought I better do that. We won't even get into the discussion about what happens if you put naked people on YouTube and all the mixed reviews you might get. So she definitely needed to be wearing a tank top, is what I'm saying. So I put a tank top on her. Then I'm using this salmon colored Neocolor 2 as a base for my skin tone building. And I'm blending that with a water barrel brush and some of that titanium white paint to make it a little bit more of a smooth blend. Also seals the water-soluble crayon and makes it more permanent. And I'm also starting in on the cub. I put some of that bright yellow color, the primary yellow, on him, and I'm going to have to tone that down. So I'm just adding in the highlights with that leftover white. Don't want to waste it. Stuff is as good as gold. Next is the tree. Coloring in the tree with a color I cannot remember. Some sort of a red-brown. Mahogany, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, starting with that for my mid-tone. I like to start with a mid-tone and then move to a dark tone and then add highlights with this type of an image. Don't do that on the girl necessarily. Well, yeah, I kind of do. Mid-tone, shadows, and then highlights. And then on skin, I add in some pink, sometimes too, and yeah. That's a whole nother video. How do I do faces? I bet some of you would want that. It seems to be something people are very interested in. How to make whimsical faces. I guess I could make a video on how I do it at some point. So then I'm using a rust-colored crayon to start the hair. I want it to be very curly-looking hair. Kind of like a lion's mane. Of course, girl lions don't have manes, so I'm not going to make a mane, but you know what I'm saying. I wanted it to be a little bit curly and poofy and a little bit dramatic or something. So I started with that color. Then I'm going to finish up my tree, going in with a olive and doing those bush clumpy things. Lots of branches in between on this tree, and I actually like it. I really like it. And then I've got a darker olive along the bottoms where the sun would not shine, because you've got to think about that. You got to think about where the light is and how it would hit something. And the tops of the trees would be light and the bottoms would be dark because the light can't get there. You know what I mean? So that's why I was doing that. And now I'm adding the shadows, and that's Van Dyke Brown, I think, which is a nice dark brown, just on the one side, even though the sun is right smack in the middle. I'm still pretending that the light is coming from the left side. Yeah, I mean the right side. The light is coming from the right side. So the left side would be in shadow. We're just going to pretend, we're giving me artistic license to pretend that that sun is not right in the middle. Yeah. My explanations may not make sense to many people, but they make sense to me. So then I got out some more of that titanium white, and I'm adding some highlights on the tops of the bush-like things and on the right side of the tree where the sun would be shining. If the sun was moved a little bit more to the right. Killing myself. And then adding back in some of that dark green and toning down the white because it was just too white. So I went over it with the crayons a little bit. It was crazy white. Okay, I think my tree's pretty much done. And then just, you know, to add visual depth, I'm putting a very small tree out there in the distance, so that it appears as though there is depth in the composition. Yeah, that's my idea. And then I'm just putting in my little silhouettes of birds up here at the top. This is my fine tip black Posca pen that I use all the time in all my videos. And of course, I can't leave it alone. I'm trying to be an artist, but I end up being an illustrator every time. So I'm illustrating people. I'm illustrating, putting in the black because I just like it. I just like how that looks. So I'm not completely outlining every single thing. I'm doing like a sketchy hit and miss type of an outline, but just adding in that black. I don't think I'll ever stop doing it, no matter how much I try. I like it. I like the way it looks. So now I'm going to go ahead and start in adding more shadows and highlights to the girl to give her more depth. She's looking pretty pale in comparison to that tree. And that is a kind of an ochre tone yellow to start the shadowing in places where your face is pushed in. If you put your fingers on your face and you figure out where the face is pushed in, that's the dark part. And where the face comes out, like your nose and your chin and your forehead, that's the light part. So if you are a person who learns by touch, just go ahead and touch your face right now. Everyone touch their face. I'm imagining you all doing it. Okay. And I went in with another color. That's kind of a, what's it called? Rose something. I don't know. I'll look it up. I promise. I'll try to remember to list the colors that I used on the skin. And then a little bit of pink, because she's been out in the sun and she's got a bit of a, you know, sun-touched cheeks and nose and forehead, because that's where the light hits, right? We already discussed this. And there's the titanium white, adding more lights. This is the process. It's just layers and layers until you're satisfied. That's all there is to it. You just keep adding and taking away and adding, and yeah. Oh no! Okay, so what did you miss? What happened there? What was the technical difficulty? Well, I have a cord that I used to plug in my phone. My phone is up here laying on a piece of poster board, foam core board stuff with a hole in it. This got caught on my heat tool, and then it pulled the phone away. So that's what happened. That's how come I was recording without being able to see anything. So what did you miss? I finished up the girl with a little bit more color, and then I used my black fine tip Posca and my white fine tip Posca to add details into the girl and the lion cub. And then I used my gold Posca to add a few highlights in the eyes and things, and then I flicked with it all over and made splatters, gold splatters all over the tag. And I used my Magnanese blue archival ink to do all the edges. The only thing left is to add in some fibers into the tag, and then I'll be done. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye-bye.